You're gonna love this.
I want to hear it. I'm objective. You're critical.
Anico at the disco.
He's positive. Join the Mixtape 615.
Today, tomorrow, yesterday,
It is the dopest supporter group in all of Nashville.
forever. Boom. And we back. Testing. 1, 2, and once again, 3. This is the Mixtape 615 podcast, baby, and we are the voice of who? The fans. That's right, the fans. And who is that? That is you, me, apparently Shay here. Welcome back. Noted friend of the pod, licensed FIFA agent.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna lock in on some NSC real quick. So buckle up, buttercups. I'm your boy, Tunji, aka the Soccer Face SF Doom and the DR Kid, affectionately known as Steam Papi Yamame por favor. Shay, do you got any nicknames you want to drop on the?
I'll drop one. It's Somatos, also your favorite agent. And we are on a skeleton crew today, but nothing scary, guys.
Nothing scary, man.
I think Tunji's going to do just fine.
It's all we got it. Like I said, we're gonna lock in. So check this out, man. Game after Toronto. This is a couple days after Toronto match. Nashville has extended their home unbeaten streak to 11 games. We're at the top. We're pretty much at the top spot. We're right there. Second, I believe, right now in supporter shield standings. I mean, we're right there in the League Cup, or sorry, not League Cup, but like the MLS Cup standings for when it comes to playoffs. Like we're rocking and rolling right now. We set a new club record for consecutive home matches without a loss. So Nashville fans, I could say we are sitting pretty right now. We're feeling good. But we do have a match that we want to get into. What happened in that Toronto FC match? How did it go down? Shay, did you get a chance to watch the match?
I did, and you're not going to win everything pretty in this league.
There you go. Yeah.
And Nashville, hey, like I said before, just win it. You're going to win ugly sometimes. You're going to win ugly. Nashville's done it for years. Don't act surprised.
Just win, baby. Just win. And I can get sort of what, like, let's start with the negative and go to the positive, right? The negative in this match was that Nashville didn't get the second goal that would have put things away against the Toronto. That's like, they're not like, I mean, if you look at them in the MLS Cup standings, you wouldn't think, oh, okay, this is a team that we need to be super worried about, but they showed up and had a really good defense. You know what I mean? Things got choppy there for a second, and it looked like even after Sam Surridge scores the one and only goal of the game, it didn't always look like Nashville was going to grind that one out. But they did. This is part of the recipes for success for teams that are trying to get silverware. You've got to grind out games. You know what I'm saying?
Statistics don't tell the whole story here. You might feel like it might seem like Nashville was on top the full 90 minutes, but the reality is there were some dangerous moments. There were some mental mistakes. There was areas that marking was poor, and honestly, there was a goal that probably Mukhtar should have had. So
yeah,
the reality is we can look back and we can probably point at 4 or 5 things that probably won't happen every game. And if you're going to do it, well, against Toronto's not a bad place to do it.
You gotta, well, that's the thing is like, no matter what, you've got to beat teams like Toronto. Sometimes, yes, we want to beat them by multiple goals so we can feel good, right. Especially about what's coming up in the next part of the season, the last third of the season. We'll get into that later, so stay tuned. The thing about, again, just focusing on the moments of concern in this match, there was a penalty scare pretty late in the game that could have basically lost us points. I don't think we would have lost the match by the way we were playing, but it was initially called on Zimmerman. VAR overturned it. It was very nervy, man. I wasn't there. I'm still working my way back to full health from my Achilles injury, guys. So hold a spot for me. I will be back in that stadium hopefully before this season's up. But you know what I'm saying? Like even the best teams can. This is the beauty. And I guess what some people hate about MLS, right, is that like it's a league, they say, of parity.
It's a very American thing, man. It's a very American thing. You have these salary caps. Ibra's moaned and complained about it in the past. You can't get the biggest names. You're never going to be able to recruit enough names. But when you don't have pro rel and you got to keep the money flowing, you got to keep people in the seats, well, you got to keep the playing field as even as possible. It's not only an American thing, but hey, MLS wants to make money over winning. That's the MLS way, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about like you look at like the MLB, right? You got teams like the Dodgers who are just they can win the league by just splashing cash like there's no tomorrow. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like it's I don't know if it's on that level because I don't really follow MLB that much, but like I feel like teams like Miami who are just constantly bringing in guys. Yes, they might be guys who are past their prime, but you brought in Messi. You know what I'm saying? Like you brought in Messi and then you brought in Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba along with him. And, you know, it makes me feel a certain type of way. But like at the same time, you know, I do enjoy the fact that like that the MLS is really trying to make it to where this league is stable. Right. Unfortunately, that means that like when the team like Nashville, who is, hey, we just reached these upper echelons, okay? We just reached these upper echelons, first, second, third in the league, competing for Supporters Shield. Yeah, we might struggle against teams like Toronto, but again, we'll just keep going back to it. At the end of the day, they grinded out an ugly win, and that's what you want to see if you're going to make these runs. I mean, they did allow Toronto to get in behind several times, like you said, due to some lapses. If this was a more clinical opponent, do you think Nashville gets punished?
Nashville gets punished, right? But again, I want to say on any other day, maybe Nashville creates more chances, but or is more clinical. Now, you know, we like you mentioned before, we got the penalty called back outside the box, but I believe it was Palacios, if I'm not mistaken, who was second man. Is that correct? Who was there?
Well, Palacios and I believe Zimmerman started the game. I could be, I need to double check on
that. Zimmerman had the foul, and you know, if Zimmerman didn't have a teammate within 5 yards of where he was, we're probably looking at a red card. As you know, maybe we're not looking at that penalty, but we're looking at a red card. You know, which is so denial of goal scoring opportunity, as you'll hear it, so. And then we might be having a different discussion. So Nashville got lucky in some areas. They got unlucky in some other areas. I think, and I'll probably allude to this later, but what we're seeing right now is luckily not a trend or negative trend, right? So I think we could brush this off and then look at next game and say, hey, do we see this continuing? That's probably when we want to start seeing a concern.
Well, you know what I'm not concerned about, and what I do want to see continue. Sam Surridge and just his goal scoring ways, baby. He is red hot, bro. Like he is red hot. 18 goals this season. He's so hot. He's finally got the MLS Discord has given him a nickname. Do you want to hear what it is, Shay?
Let's hear it.
Pam Purridge. You can't make this stuff up, bro. Like they're mad at Samuel the GOAT Surridge, Super Sam Surridge, Superior Samuel from the Nottingham Forest Surridge. That guy. They're mad at him because he's in that golden boot race, and he's caused him and his scoring, which I don't think we're going to talk about this right here. I don't think that it's just Samuel direct, straight up scoring these goals. I think it's a complete team effort that is geared towards getting Sam in the right spots to get goals, whether that's from the penalty box or it's like, you know, sneaking it in. He's called the fox in the box for a reason.
Yeah, and it's a weak man's argument. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I tried to cut you off there, but
no, you're fine. That's all I need to hear. Thank you.
You know, you see this, and at some point, it's. Okay, well, he's a tap-in merchant or this and that. But if it's so easy, if it's so lucky, and he has some great goals this year, where outside of Messi, why isn't anybody else doing it, right? So that goes to show you there's a reason why he's in that place. There's a reason why he's making those runs. There's a reason he's sitting in that spot is because he knows that some of those goals are going to be dirty. And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Well, guess what?
Yep.
Here he is. Besides Messi, you don't have the last name Messi. He's a pretty damn good player.
Yeah, he is. He's great. And we give, you know, I almost lost this argument in the Discord because I was like, well, what about Messi? They call him Pessy or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And Ronaldo, they call Ronaldo Penaldo because of all the goals these guys score from the penalty spot. And it's like, I don't see how that dilutes your prowess. How does that dilute? Like, if you're a guy who is automatic from the penalty spot,
yeah,
that's an asset to your team. Who doesn't want a guy like that? You're saying all I got to do is get into the box and find a way to make you, again, because you have very bad discipline, opponent, foul me, and then I get a goal. The ultimate goal of what we're trying to do here is to put the ball in the back of the net. I'm sorry, when your team is winning, when you're on top, I don't think you really care how the goals go in. And that's right. that's my stance on it, man. I don't know, man. I sincerely doubt that any of those MLS Discord guys, I think they just kind of hang out in the Discords, like in the dungeons of Discord. But I sincerely doubt they'll be listening to this. But I'm like, guys, that's the fact that you guys are mad at Sam Surridge because he's scoring goals, however he's scoring goals, means that we're doing something right. You got to start. They're starting to put spec on Nashville and Sam's name, and they don't even realize it.
Yeah,
they don't even realize it, man.
It goes back to you look at other teams as well. Why are you not doing the same thing? Why is some not replicating what Sam does if it's so easy? But there's a lot more that goes into just a penalty than being clinical. Yeah, but you want a leader up there, and you want a guy that can really handle the pressure. So I think it speaks a lot for Sam outside of just being a goal scorer. And hey, guess what? A lot of these, Harry Kane, a lot of these guys in these big leagues, hey, they win a lot of these goal scoring titles. I'm not saying off the backs of penalties, but a penalty scoring these PKs are essential rewards for being a leader and a probably the best goal scorer already on the team. So I'd like to say it's a cherry on top to the type of player they are. And yeah, I mean, you look around the world, any league around the world, you'll see those that score penalties tend to rise to the top. So this is no different.
They want him to give up free points. That's what they want him to give up free goals. I don't like. There's games that are decided at the penalty spot, and that's why it's there.
Yeah, that's why you spend the money on a guy like that. And then if you look at the trends across MLS over the past, let's say 10 years, you got the Sounders, you have the Toronto teams with Altidore, Michael Bradley, LAFC teams. These teams and Nashville's finally there, and we've mentioned it before, are spending money, right? So they're using the rules to their advantage. Nashville's spending money. We're going to get to that on a player or two coming up. Surge is one of those players they spent money on. There is a trend when you spend that money. I'm not saying you spend crazy like Miami hasn't won, but when you spend the money,
another one.
You tend to win the title. We can point to a lot of scenarios almost all the time, every year, that if you don't spend at least somewhat upper echelon money, you're almost not going to win the cup. I don't know where Columbus is on that. I have to double check. They could be an outlier. They're incredibly well coached. They're incredibly well scouted, and they play so well as a team. But if you even look at Cincinnati was horrible, spent some money, they're at the top. So you can't fault Nashville for any of this. You can't fault Nashville for using the rules to their advantage, to spending good money, not Miami money, and to bringing in players that can score penalty kicks and lead the league in goals. They're doing what it takes to win the championship.
There you go. Let's get into a few stats from the game, and then we'll kind of talk about what this showed me. Possession. Nashville SC 52 won the possession game, 52%. Total passes 416, 10 shots to Toronto 7. Shots on goal, they had 5 where Toronto had 0. Right? Like they are dominating. Expected goals, I don't care what people think about this. I enjoy the stat. I think it is a tough stat to kind of look at and be like, well, why didn't we win? But to me, I'm like, hey, just keep that stat high. Right? Like at the end of the day, if you keep the stat high, bro. And it's like,
I love that stat.
I love the stat. What do you think about their 1.56 to Toronto's 5.54? Did it look like that in the game to you? Did it? Because it was a tough game.
There were areas of that game which were a little messy. There were Andy Nahar's header. I mean, there's some things that were messy and maybe didn't tell the whole story. But again, when you look at a whole season, as we discussed last year, as we discussed this year, the expected goal scored, the expected goals allowed tend to reflect the strength of a team. So you keep it high, you do pretty well over the course of a season. You can complain all you want about it, but for the most part, it reflects the reality of a season.
Yeah, and Nashville's sitting at, if you look at that specifically, that stat in this game, it kind of reflects their performance the whole season. 1.56 to Toronto's 0.54 xG, almost tripling that stat on them. They are leading the league in goal difference, I think they're leading the league in goal difference. Last time I checked, it was 14. They were plus 14 in goals.
It might be.
You know what I mean? So
they're top,
and that's the highest. Yeah,
they
that's
might
the
be around
highest.
top five. Go on.
Top five what?
In scoring. I think they're right around top 5 in scoring. They were hovering around that 5 mark, but and their defense has been phenomenal. Just really, I think the best thing about their defense, lapses aside, is not giving up dangerous chances. So that's been huge for the team this year.
And they're finally putting we didn't get too far away from the philosophy of the Gary Smith years. I feel like we've gotten to this point about getting too far away where it's like, hey, great organized defenses, but now we're marrying that with the take chances on offense, be aggressive on offense too. Don't be passive on offense, be super aggressive on defense. I need a mix of that. Everyone defends, everyone attacks. I love that saying from BJ Callahan. I probably say that in my sleep. It has free rent. I'm at my job. I'm at my job leading my team in the kitchen at where I work. And I'm just like, everyone attacks, everyone defends when I'm trying to get everyone riled up. You know what I mean? And BJ's done it. I want to go over some of these recipes for success that Nashville has that Nashville had, especially in this game. But I think what we're seeing over the course of the season, grinding out games when opponents have stingy defenses. We just saw that. Right. Yeah, we had the 10 shots, 5 on goal, but those are some tough earned on goal shots. You know what I mean? Not conceding goals or points at home. You know, treating Geodis Park like it's a fortress, or in our case, a castle. Yeah. This is critical. Yep. Didn't do that last year. Did not do that last year. Last year was ugly. And then being able to rotate your squad and still win games. Right? Like, these are the things that I'm now seeing over the course of this year, and I'm trusting in it when I see Nashville. I don't think that it's a one-off whenever they do win games like this or beat an opponent like Philly I'm like, no, I've seen them repeat these things over and over again. I have confidence in this team. But when we talk about rotation, there are a few guys in that rotation factor I don't think the fan base is super happy with. And I think there's a few guys that they are super happy with. Let's start with the first one, right? Patrick Yazbek. Yazbek just hit his 1-year mark as a boy in gold. He has my personal stamp of approval. It was a little rocky with him at first. We're not going to get into that. That's the past. The future is now, old man. So, yeah, I'm talking to myself. I'm the old man here. I'm Unk right now, as I've been told so many times. But the thing that I've seen from Patrick Yazbek is over the course of this year that he's been with the team, his passing and vision is so accurate. It's so critical. It's amazing what this guy has done to change the complexion of that midfield with just those two skills alone. He doesn't turn the ball over. And he's starting the attack most of the time. When he has the ball, I know, oh crap, this is time to let's take it to him, because he's finding, again, with that vision, that passing, he's finding those lanes, he's finding the right pass to make at the right times. This guy's just dynamic, and he can fit into so many different parts of BJ's roster and system that I think that because of that, over this year, I can confidently say this guy's been a perfect fit to the system.
Yep.
I'm not sure. This next guy we're going to talk about is almost there, but Perez, Johnny Perez, the lone from the Lone Ranger from LA, the LA kid.
I still think he's gone at the end of the year.
Oh, really? I'm actually sad to hear that.
I don't think he's as impactful as maybe they're looking for. Unless, I will say this, unless Nashville has a plan, a vision for him that doesn't require him to reach superstar status, that fits in a budget that he buys into as well, versus what LA might otherwise see that could have a greater vision, I don't see him returning next year.
Wow,
But
that is a hot take.
I don't see it.
hot take. That's why we have you on the show.
I don't
That
see
is
it.
actually a hot take. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I mean, so here's my thoughts, man. I love the guy. I think his discipline needs work. That showed. Like, if you want to rely on him, he's got to be available to play the game. Now, like him getting the yellow card accumulation, it's a tough one. But like when you're younger, when you're fighting for position on the team, right? Like that's where he's at. I need you to be as available as possible, especially right now. Like, so him racking up yellow cards tells me he might have a lack of discipline. Now, it could also tell me that he's just playing as hard as he can, right? Like to show that he's worth the spot to Nashville or any team really at this point to take the risk on him once his loan is up. But I think the next step for you is you got to learn to harness that energy. You got to learn to harness that aggression. You got to learn to harness everything you're doing and stay off those yellow card books, my man. Because I think he's good. I think he would be a great rotation piece for us if I can see him more consistently. But yeah. So
my genuine feel about this, Tunji, is that they have a younger roster and it's getting younger. In Nashville, standard Nashville, you have strong defense, traditionally experience in the MLS, whether it's just US born players or that understand how to play MLS defense. That leaves quite a few young players moving forward on the pitch. And that doesn't leave a lot of room for error when a lot of that money being spent is going towards young players. So how much leniency does Nashville have for a player like him that might want to say, hey, I want this amount of minutes going forward? Nashville might say, hey, well, look, we're investing a lot of money into our youth. We don't see you as an investment as a starter going forward. That might just be the thing that has him say, well, I do want to go back. I don't want to sign a new contract. I don't want an option picked up.
Yeah, that's right. It's got to be a perfect fit on both sides, and you forget that. I forget that. I think that it's just Perez trying to earn a spot on this team when he actually has a spot on a lot of teams' rosters at his skill level right now. And
everyone's watching. I mean, again, this isn't just Nashville. He is auditioning for every club out there. So he has a value to him. It's just whether Nashville sees the value that he sees for himself.
I think I speak for a lot of the fans right now when I say I think that we hope that he has a spot, because I don't know. We don't know what is going on with Schaffelberg. We don't know if he'll be here or playing overseas next year. We don't know. And that's a problem that we don't know. That's a problem that we don't know, because we were looking at Schaff like he was going to second coming of Alistair Johnston, who went over to I believe he's in Ireland right now. Scotland. Yeah, he's playing with the Rangers or Celtics.
Celtic, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like we thought he was going to be that second coming of him, and it just hasn't really worked out. But another guy that's not really working out, especially in the fans' eyes. I think you know who I'm about to say. Ahmed Kassem. That's my boy. That's my guy. Fellow Antioch native. he's I don't know, Shay, if you know Antioch here, but it's
I do know Antioch. I do know Antioch.
Place in Nashville to live and grow up and to become a whole human. But like it's everything on paper looks good with this guy. On paper, he should be scoring. On paper, he shouldn't be struggling to get starts like he is right now. On paper, he was the most exciting pickup of the offseason to me, outside of, let's say, Tagsef. And Tagsef has been and I was excited, but he's taken it to a whole new level with his action once he's got here. In reality, Ahmed Kassem has not done that. I'm a patient guy. I don't think I'm as patient. I think I'm more patient than a lot of the fan base in Nashville, especially the guys that are chronically online. I fall into the category of being chronically online, but I also am the outlier in that I'm pretty patient. I'm willing to see these things play out. I just think Kassem so far has had like this game in particular. Let's just focus on some of this game. Like the smoking gun to me that was like, oof, this is a bad look, bro. It's just like the amount of times in the beginning of the match where he just didn't look like his head was in it. He looked too lackadaisical, too casual, too meh, almost like he was lost at times. You know, even the commenters said the exact same thing. He was too casual. And I've seen that a few times with him this year. And it's just like when you see that, I don't know, what does that tell you? To me, it just says it can be one of two things. Either he doesn't want to be here or he's not fitting in and he's lost when he's out there.
Well, I have some good news and bad news. I mean, if he's playing, he's probably training well, right? There's something going well behind the scenes. Now, you have to think of it relative to other players on the team. His performance and in his position is actually, with Alex, for example, is pretty comparable in terms of numbers. Now, he was, I believe, about 4 million. He was about 4 million, and Nashville's had some luck going this. He takes a spot, a U22 initiative. This is, again, as I mentioned time and time again, a beneficial roster move for Nashville. He doesn't take up that budget, okay, that otherwise his salary or his transfer fee would command. So that transfer fee of $4 million, yeah, that doesn't make him a DP because he's this U22 player. He fits in that way. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on the team. His salary, $650,000, the budget maximum, I believe, for this year, is, again, it's probably where you would expect a player like him coming from Europe. For Nashville, it made sense on paper, right? So, but, you know, when he was signed, he was mentioned as a playmaker and a goal scorer, and they expected that. You can go back and look at the quotes when they signed him. I had to go and confirm this. Now, maybe it's not the player's fault. Go back and look at his statistics. Go back and look at his analytics. And he's doing exactly what he's done the past several years.
Okay.
The question becomes does MLS more or less fall into place with those Scandinavian leagues, right? If you say yes, if you say, hey, competition is similar, team is similar, the style is similar, then what did you expect? He's doing exactly what he was doing. Now, I can see it. Hey, we spend a lot of money. We expect you want a return on that investment, which you're not getting, right? You're not getting that return. He's still very young. He still can grow into it. They've struck gold with these types of decisions in the past. But maybe they thought too highly of the player. Maybe he was overvalued. Maybe they thought that he could get to that next level. He doesn't have senior national team experience. So maybe he's not that player that he was scouted to be. Maybe Nashville was just wrong and he is who he is.
Oof.
Sorry.
Yikes. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, that's a good, I like that angle. I like that perspective from that's, if you're looking at it, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like if you're looking at it from the inside, like you kind of are, like you're thinking about the value. How should we be looking about it at it? Because you've probably seen this before. You're close enough to the game where you've seen things work out and not work out. Right now, again, he's only like a couple months. He's like he's into his first season with Nashville, and we're halfway, about two-thirds of the way through the season. How should we as fans be approaching? Like, should we start panicking? I think that's where we're at. I don't think we're panicking. I think we've already consigned ourselves to, I don't like this guy. I don't know if it's that like, hey, get this guy off the roster, or he's not a good fit, or yet. I think it's a lot of people right now are just like looking at everything that they're not getting that we were, I guess, in a sense, promised that we would get. And I'm very light on that promise.
Yeah.
It's the general consensus is we don't like this guy right now. How should we be approaching this, like as fans, how should we be approaching this situation? Yeah,
there's likely some underlying analytics that I don't have access to, that his style of play is fitting to what Nashville needs. He's not obviously a playmaker, but Nashville's winning. If we were losing, he'd probably be hated a lot more. Let's be real here. Now, again, also, he wouldn't be on the team if we didn't have these budget rules to fit under 22 players. So you got to look at it with a grain of salt. They invested that money knowing that they can get away with it. Now, If how he finishes the second half of the season is going to be pretty telling. There could be a scenario, and we've seen this scenario before. You offload him at the end of the season. You just try to get all your money back, right? Because maybe this 1 year sample isn't enough to say, oh, he's just not the player we thought. Maybe you can just pitch it as, oh, he just wasn't a fit for us. Offload him for $4 million, whatever. Now the problem becomes as well. Let's say he finishes the season poorly. Then he hangs on for another season, and it's another poor season. You'll never see that $4 million, right? So the question becomes: is what have they seen, behind the curtains of this player to say, well, let's send him back, right? Let's just transfer him back. Someone that still loves the kid before he destroys his own value with another poor year. So I think you have to wait and see how the second half of the season goes. I will say this: his defensive statistics are good. They liked his versatility coming in. They might be asking him to be more of a defensive forward. It happens, right? It happens. Maybe they want a guy to come back. Maybe they've changed his style of play. See how it goes to the end of the year. You win the championship, we all forget about it. But when he gets sold at the end of the year, we can come back to this episode and be like, okay, now we know. So
facts. One more guy, and I'm not going to spend too much time, but Brugman, I think he's good, but he takes risks that can cost us. And also he just needs to stay healthy. You know what I mean? He's an older guy. I'm not going to spend too much time. What I do want to spend the rest of our time on right now is the rest of the season. Yeah. Right? 10 games left, around 10 games of league play left. We are exactly where I didn't think we would be at this point in the season, right? Nashville SC is not just competing for one trophy. I thought the only trophy we had a shot at this year would be the Open Cup. You know what I mean? I thought even that was kind of a long run. But we're competing for that. We're actually favored right now, I think, to win that. Before we, until we find out who wins the between Philly, the Union, and NY, looks like based off of Red Bull's recent performance, we might be playing Philadelphia. Hopefully, they can turn it around, because I'd rather play them than to play Philly a third time this year. Right. But we're competing for three. We've got the MLS Cup, Supporter Shield, Open Cup, and we have a good shot at all of those. Who would have thought? But this is how you do it, bro. This is how you get to that place.
Isn't there a curse amongst winning the Supporters Shield and then not winning the cup? I have to go back and check. I know in hockey they have it, and I feel like they have it in MLS. For some reason, it leaves me. I would say the Supporter Shield is the drive for show, and the MLS Cup is the putt for dough of soccer. So, and I have to say this about Nashville.
I just looked it up. There is a curse. It's a trend. The MLS Supporters Shield curse refers to the trend where teams win the Supporters Shield, awarded to a team in the best regular season record, but often fail to win the MLS Cup in the same season. Just under a third of Shield winners have gone on to win the MLS Cup. Oh my! That's Google's AI overview when I asked it the question.
And honestly, Tunji, if you look at let's say the last 10 years, if you want to throw the last 10 years in there, ChatGPT it or something, I don't know, it's probably lower. I mean, remember, the league is growing and growing. The larger it gets, the harder it is to win. So you might be looking at a league of 10 to 12 teams, and now you look at the league now, and I think you're going to see substantially lower percentage. But my point being is, I don't think this is just a trend. I think this is really Nashville's identity. And we've talked about it. Can they keep it going? This and that. And I think it is who they are now. Now, the reality is can they keep the momentum? Yeah, they've shown that they can keep the momentum. They're doing everything they need to do to grind out those wins. They have that offense. They have they have some depth. They have a coach they can believe in, and it's going to come down to whether they can stay healthy. And I think when we meet again in October and have this discussion, I think there's a real possibility that we're looking at Nashville as a title contender. Are they healthy at that point in time? Because right now I don't see any other indicators to suggest that this is another standard Nashville where you kind of peter out at the end of the year. You don't live to your potential, whatever. You said it before. They had the defense and they went out and got the offense. They got a coach that just happens to be great for the fit. I mean, Joe, don't get too old in the net, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they're not even giving up dangerous shots. They're keeping the old guy clean. So I guess you have to take it on a week by week basis at this point. When's it going to get bad? It hasn't gotten bad. It's their identity now. Just stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And just to answer your question, 2 teams have won both the Supporters Shield and MLS Cup in the last 10 years. LAFC in 2022 and Toronto FC in 2017. I do remember the Toronto FC 2017 year. That was a crazy year for them. They used to be one of the strongest teams in the league, and look where they're at now, under our heel. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, but no, it's true.
It's true, bro. It's true. So, like, you know, again, you see in Nashville SC right now that is giving themselves as many at-bats as they possibly can. And not just when I say giving themselves, they are holding on tight to their positions in whatever league they're playing, whether it's the Open Cup or MLS. This is how we do it, you know. So I'm like, if we look at all of these factors, here's the factors I'm looking at. Momentum. Form is peaking for Nashville right now. We are like, you know what I'm saying? Like last year, I would have been worried to go from playing a Columbus Crew to Miami to Toronto. You know what I'm saying? Like those types, I would have felt like it would have been so up and down, and I wouldn't know who we would peak against in that 3-game stretch. You know what I'm saying? We might peak against Miami and lose to Columbus and Toronto. It's just like they just weren't very consistent. But with the momentum right now, I mean, 11 straight home matches, unbeaten. You can imagine the type of confidence that builds. And I know what this team looks like when they don't have confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
Look at all last year. I can see crazy, even in guys like Alex Muyl. I mean, he's always been a confident guy, but it's showing right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Guys like Daniel Lovett's out there again, another guy who's confident, but when in his gameplay, sometimes you don't see it. Especially when its overall team is doing bad. But Hany Mukhtar being one of the guys, I'm like, you can tell when he's confident. You can tell when he's not too confident. And seeing his results. Hany is a confident man right now. Sam Surridge is a confident man.
He's got a cleanup guy in Sam, like you said.
Exactly. He's scoring goals. That's another factor. Yep. That's another factor. This is the most lethal duo in MLS right now. Yes. The most lethal duo.
One of the most lethal duos I've seen in a long time.
Exactly. I think we're going to be talking about the Hany and Sam, because the thing with this match was if Hany doesn't score, then Sam's going to score. Yep. If Sam doesn't score, then Hany's going to score. And a lot of times it's off the back of work that they're both putting in. Right? Like this match happened. The goal in this match happened because Hany did a good, like, he kind of switched the ball from his left foot to his right to catch his defender off guards and get a decent shot at goal. It wasn't the best shot, but it was enough to make the goalkeeper Sean Johnson react and he was able to he reacted in a way where he was able to get a hand on it and push it away, but he pushed it right in the Sam Surridge, who had no trouble putting that in the back of net. So these types of things, the confidence, that lethal duo, these are more reasons why I think Nashville is lifting some sort of hardware this year. And I'll say it on pod. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. All right. This team is good. And you're not going to make me think any other type of way about it. The depth is good. You know, we're just talking about rotation, guys. But the best thing right now that I think about our depth is that we have rotation guys who are worth talking about. There was a lot of times where I was like, you know, we used to go off on Gary a lot. We used to go off on Gary a lot because he never subbed guys in. He didn't sub guys in until like the last minutes of the game. He had no guys to sub in. He subbed those guys in. It was an automatic goal given. It was just an automatic a momentum stopper killer. Yeah, because the guys just weren't up to par. You know what I'm saying? So that's another piece of this story on how Nashville gets to lift hardware. And you're talking about injuries. I think, well, they have depth. Walker Zimmerman went out. You know, USMNT, Walker Zimmerman went out. And he was gone for a long time. And Nashville kept on winning without him. Hey, we love him. But the fact that he can go out and things are good, things are safe in the back line. It was rocky there for a little bit, but they figured it out, man. I mean, what do you think about the depth and in terms of the injury scare? Like it's always present, always looming injury scare on the horizon.
Well, like you said, I mean, Walker was away. That you can count that as almost an injury. Defensively, it almost seems like they can plug and play anybody at this point. I'd be a little more scared if Hany or Sam went down, but you know, come back. Let's revisit this, and I'll end with this. I'm not a guy that would ask for a loss. Back when the Penguins in hockey were good, you know, they would hit these strides as well, and I would often say, it's going to end at some point. Let's end that in the regular season, and let's see how we bounce back, because I don't want to somehow hit some downside in the playoffs where we don't have an opportunity to rebound and get back mentally where we were prior. If it happens, let's accept it. Let's praise their streak, but let's watch how they bounce back. And then I think you'll see the team you'll see a team that's ready to win the MLS Cup.
And I think that's exactly what you need for a team that's going to win any type of hardware. Is don't just look at how long they keep a streak going. Don't just look at the wins that they're linking together right now. Look at what they do after a loss. And I've been looking at that all year. Yep. I don't think I've seen these situations that we used to see before. And we see a lot of other Nashville teams where it's like, all right, man, they got a loss. Let's see if they come back out strong next week. Oh, they didn't come back out strong next week. Let's see what they do the week after. Oh, it's another bad down week. I don't feel like there's been any change. No, man, after each loss, after each L, or after even ties that shouldn't happen, I can see the guys making adjustments. I can see the coach, BJ Callahan, making the proper adjustments. That brings me to my last piece of the Exodia puzzle here on how Nashville is going to, end this season with some sort of silverware. And it's the vision that BJ Callahan has brought in, and how fully his team has bought into it. I feel like everyone is behind this man and what he's doing, fans included. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't question him no more. So I mean,
we can only wait and see, and revisit this in November, December.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Yep. Speaking of which, I think that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Yeah, enjoy the ride. Like my guy Shay says, enjoy the ride, man. Thank you for coming on the show today, Shay. It's always awesome having you on.
Always a pleasure.
Guys,
thank you.
I don't normally close us out, so I believe Austin says something like keep it real, keep it vibing. Catch us on mixtape615.com. You can find our stuff on any platform that you listen to podcasts on, Apple Music, Spotify. You want to find us the video, you can find the video on YouTube and at Mixtape 615 Pod, so you can see me and Shay go back and forth in this verbal sparring match that we've had.
Other way.
See, if you guys aren't watching, you can't see that me and him were
this way.
we were boxing. You can't see that. You gotta watch the pod. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow. That's a lot of calls to actions, but do one of them. And again, keep it real, keep it vibing. Big shout out to Doug, our superstar producer. And until next time, Mixtape 615 signing off, baby.